And welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, August the 10th, 2026. I would like to welcome all of you who are joining us in the audience this evening, as well as those who are joining us online. We certainly appreciate your attendance with us this evening at our City Council meeting. At this time, I'm going to call on our City Secretary, Ms. Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Mr. Thompson? Here. Ms. Page? Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Metter?
Here.
Ms. Matlock? Ms. Hart?
Okay. We do have two council members absent this evening, Council Members Page and Matlock. They're involved with school activities, Meet the Teacher Night, and so we certainly respect that. And since we do have two council members absent this evening, then I will be voting on matters that come before the council this evening. Our invocation will be led this evening by Councilmember Jay Davis. Before we do that, I would like to recognize we have some special guests in the audience this evening. We have the Adult Scout Troop 6101, and they are here this evening, and I mean they are in full force. We have a large group of scouts, adult scouts here this evening, and they're going to lead us in our pledge. And so at this time, I'm going to ask the scouts if you all will please come forward and then just stand in front of the dais here facing the flag. And then after Councilmember Davis finishes with the invocation, then we will lead into the pledge. So at this time, if everyone will please stand. Councilmember Davis.
Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight. Just thank you for the many blessings that we have here in Texarkana, and just ask you to continue to keep us healthy and keep us safe, and just be with those that protect us. And Lord, just be with us tonight as we make decisions that are going to be impactful for the city, and just ask that we do that in your eyes. Lord, just thank you for the scouts that are here tonight, and just allow us to have safe travels home. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Really appreciate that. Once again, I want to thank Scout Troop 6101, Adult Group from Opportunities, for your participation this evening. And Chloe, thank you very much for asking me to invocation, and we're glad to have you. And you're welcome to stay as long as you would like. If you have other places you need to be shortly, that's certainly fine. We certainly respect that, but you're welcome to stay for as long as you'd like, or for the entirety of the meeting. So once again, thank you all very much for being here. I really don't have any specific remarks to make this evening or items of community interest, so we'll move along to our upcoming city council meetings. We will have another council meeting scheduled for later this month on Monday, August the 24th at 5:30 p.m. And this will be a public hearing, a council meeting relating to a budget public hearing. That should be the only item that we will have on the agenda, will be a public hearing pertaining to the next fiscal year budget. Our regularly scheduled council meeting for the month of September will be on Monday, September the 14th, and then followed by our regularly scheduled meeting for the month of October on Monday, October the 12th. Those times for September and October will be at 6 p.m., and then the meeting on August the 24th will be at 5:30 p.m. At this time, move along to our open forum, comments from the public. If there's anyone in the audience this evening who would like to address the council, you're welcome to do so. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak. If you're here this evening and you're wanting to speak on behalf of one of our public hearing items, if you'll please wait until we get to that particular item, then we will be more than happy to listen to your comments at that time. We do ask those who would like to speak to the council this evening to complete one of these yellow sheets that can be found near the entry doors. We do have one sheet that's been filled out this evening, and I apologize if I mispronounce the last name. The first name is Brianna, and could you pronounce the last name for me? Gretline. Okay, Brianna Gretline. And she would like to address the council in reference to data centers and the flock environment. So, ma'am, if you'll please come forward and if you'll please state your name for the record and please continue with your comments.
My name's Brianna Gretline. I'm a longtime resident of Texarkana. I just wanted to come up and speak in opposition of the flock cameras, which I feel like, we've already discussed in detail in previous council meetings. So in terms of actions that we would appreciate being taken and considered, have been plainly stated, as well as the data centers. I really wanted to speak about the dangers of data centers. I'm sure we're all very aware of how much water they consume and how dangerous it is for the environment. The environment is extremely important to all of us. I'm sure we've felt the 100-degree weather multiple weeks in a row. And that definitely has something to do with the data centers. It hasn't taken effect yet, of course, but the devastating effects it has on the environment and expediting climate change and what that's going to do for all of us in terms of our drought and the weather getting hotter and more unsustainable. I do think it's time that we start considering things like that in the long term of what that does for our future generations. So I just wanted to come as a citizen, someone who cares, that opposes these things. And also, just a side note of what we could do about our lawns and considering it helps with the insect population. If it doesn't need to be mowed, then don't mow it. Certain things that we could just implement in our daily lives that would enhance our city. Just care about the environment. So, yeah, that's about it.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? All right, at this time, we'll move along to our appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Do we have any appointments or reappointments to be made this evening by the council?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Mr. Metter?
I have an appointment to Planning and Zoning. It's on behalf of Ms. Page. It's Ms. Carolyn Moore. She's a new appointment.
Okay, all right, all right. Mr. Thompson?
I've got an appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission as well. Randy Walker is a new appointment.
Okay, all right. Ms. Hart?
And I have an appointment of Lisa Thompson to the Texarkana Community Development Foundation.
Okay, all right. Are there any others to be made at this time? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of these names that have been submitted. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. I want to thank those citizens who are willing to serve our community. Appreciate your time and appreciate your interest. At this time, we'll move along to our items for consideration. We do have several items this evening on the consent agenda. Item 1 is to consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on July 13th, 2026. Item 2 is resolution number 2026-137, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for the Lake Ridge Drive 6-inch sewer main extension project in an amount not to exceed $115,071.25. Funds are available in the Utilities 2025-2026 budget in the Texas Capital Improvement Fund at $115,071.25. Item number 3, resolution number 2026-143, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for the North Street 8-inch water looping project in an amount not to exceed $65,177.50. Funds are available in the Utilities 2025-2026 budget in the Texas Capital Improvement Fund at $65,177.50. Item number 4, resolution number 2026-144, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for the Spring Lake Park 8-inch sewer replacement project in an amount not to exceed $157,538. Funds are available in the Utilities 2025-2026 budget in the Texas Capital Improvement Fund at $157,538. Item number 5, resolution number 2026-145, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for the West 32nd Street 8-inch sewer main replacement project in an amount not to exceed $535,198.50. Funds are available in Utilities 2025-2026 budget in the Texas Infrastructure Fund at $535,198.50. Item number 6, resolution number 2026-146, approving change order number 1 for the runway 422 extension overlay project at the Texarkana Regional Airport, authorizing an additional 1-inch asphalt overlay to increase the pavement section from 5 inches to 6 inches, authorizing an increase to the engineering contract with McClellan Consulting Engineers, MCE, and Tatum Excavation Company, TEC, in an amount previously approved not to exceed $16,856,165.10, and providing for related matters. So I just want for clarification, the 1 inch of asphalt's not costing $16 million, okay? I just want to clarify that little configuration there with the wording of that. So this completes the consent agenda unless a council member would like to pull one or more items to be considered for further consideration. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented. Is there a motion for approval? We have a motion by Councilmember Metter, a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The consent agenda has been approved. We do have 3 items this evening listed under our action items section. Item number 1 is resolution number 2026-115, proposing a property tax rate of .650000 per $100 of assessed valuation for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2026 and ending September 30th, 2027, and authorizing public notice of the proposed property tax rate. Note, this resolution, if passed by the City Council, does not adopt a tax rate, but rather proposes for publication the same tax rate adopted last year. A public hearing and council recorded vote to adopt a proposed tax rate will be held on September 14th, 2026. And this particular resolution will require a roll call vote. I'm going to turn it over to Kristen Peoples to provide some additional information pertaining to this resolution. Good evening, Kristen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The budget that will be presented this evening is built on a proposed property tax rate of 65 cents, which is the same rate that is in place today. The city is required to provide public notice of the proposed tax rate through an advertisement in the local newspaper and by posting the notice on the city's website. This resolution does not adopt the property tax rate. Its purpose is only to formally propose the rate and provide the required notice to the public. As you mentioned, a public hearing will be held on September 14th, and following that public hearing, council will consider adopting the tax rate at that time. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Kristen? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Thompson, and this item will require a roll call vote. Ms. Evans, please.
Ms. Hart? Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Metter?
Yes.
Mayor Brueggemann?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
All right, very good. The resolution passes unanimously. Item number 2 is resolution number 2026-136, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with United Healthcare for the city's employee medical and dental insurance plans for fiscal year 2027, effective October 1st, 2026, with funds budgeted in the Employee Health Trust Claim Fund, Fund 702. And we have J.W. Bramlett from our Human Resources Department to provide some additional information to the council relating to this resolution. Good evening, Mr. Bramlett.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In preparation for the October 1st, 2026 plan year, the city worked with our employee benefits consultant to conduct a comprehensive RFP for both medical and dental insurance coverage. The city's current vision coverage has a price guarantee through October 1st, 2028, so that was not included in this RFP. But the RFP process evaluated carrier pricing, plan designs, provider networks, financial stability, and overall value to the city and its employees. For medical coverage, proposals were received from United Healthcare, which is the city's current incumbent carrier, and Curative. These were the only two carriers that provided a response, as 6 other carriers declined to provide a quote. Curative's quote far exceeded United Healthcare's, so ultimately United Healthcare was recommended by our consultant as the carrier offering the best overall value and long-term stability for the city's medical insurance program. Remaining fully insured limits the city's options with regards to controlling costs, so the city also explored transitioning from our fully insured model to a self-insured model, which we have been once before. But due to our current claims experience over the past 24 months, returning to self-insured would have resulted in an increase of approximately $5.5 million over the current expenditures and approximately $2.7 million over the proposed fully insured renewal. So it was not viable to pursue being self-insured for our upcoming year, but we'll continue to revisit that for the next renewal cycle next year. For dental coverage, proposals were received from United Healthcare, MetLife, Aetna, and United Concordia. After evaluating the proposals, United Healthcare and MetLife were identified as the finalists. While both carriers did offer competitive dental programs, staff recommends awarding the dental coverage to United Healthcare. Selecting United Healthcare for both the medical and dental programs allows the city to maintain a bundled carrier discount of 2.5% that outweighed any savings from choosing MetLife. The annual cost of the recommended United Healthcare medical insurance is estimated to be $9,362,230. That includes both the city and employee premium contributions. So that's the total package of what it costs to purchase health care for the upcoming year. Of that amount, the city will continue paying nearly 80% of the total cost to provide medical insurance to our employees, which totals $7,377,808 for the upcoming year, while the employees will contribute $1,984,422. Compared to the current fiscal year, this represents an estimated increase of approximately $1,769,073 in city contributions and $731,634 in employee contributions. The annual cost of the recommended United Healthcare dental insurance is estimated to be $445,368, which includes both the city and employee premium contributions. The city's estimated contribution is $315,246, while employees are estimated to contribute $130,123. Compared to the current fiscal year, that represents an estimated increase of approximately $34,261 in city contributions and $14,142 in employee contributions. The breakdown of the total cost that I've just gone over, as well as the plan design, was contained within your briefing packet. And the amounts discussed are estimates because final cost will depend on employee enrollment elections during our annual open enrollment that will begin later this week and may fluctuate slightly throughout the plan year as enrollment changes occur, but I wouldn't expect it to be drastic. The numbers discussed also include all participating groups covered under the city's health insurance program, which includes TWU and the airport. And if there are any questions that you may have, I'll be glad to answer those now.
Any questions for Mr. Bramlett pertaining to this item? Seems like healthcare continues to go up in cost. It's a challenge for many employers, and certainly want to thank the staff for working on this particular item, part of the budget process. It's very, very important, and just appreciate the work that's been done on this as far as negotiating. Mr. Thompson?
I do have a question. Do you have any idea how many employees you expect to enroll?
Yes, sir. So let me get that for you real quick. So currently, we have around 480 some odd people that are on our insurance program, so I would expect it to be relatively about the same.
That includes city, water, and...
Yes, that's everybody. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions by the council? Mr. Thompson, do you have another question? Okay. All right. Okay, very good. JW, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
All right. All right. If there are no further questions, then I'll entertain a motion for approval of the resolution. Is there a motion? We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Metter. This is a resolution, so once again, it does not contain a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes. Item number 3 is ordinance number 2026-147, amending the city's traffic register to establish a 20-mile-per-hour school zone speed limit for roadway sections of West 20th Street, Main Street, Pine Street, and West 16th Street in the vicinity of Parks Elementary School when children are present, and repealing school zones applicable to Paul Lawrence Dunbar Elementary Education Center and Spring Lake Park Elementary School. And we have Jonathan Wade to provide some information to the council pertaining to this ordinance. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. The Texarkana Independent School District has implemented campus closures at Paul Lawrence Dunbar Early Education Center and Spring Lake Park Elementary. The students at these schools have relocated to Parks Elementary over at 1915 Pine Street. And as a result, the school zones that existed at Paul Lawrence Dunbar Early Education Center and Spring Lake Park Elementary must be repealed, and all related roadway signage must be removed as well. This also includes the installation of new school zone signs at Parks Elementary. The city required the design engineer to establish these proposed school zones. They will be 20 miles per hour, typically between 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. when school is in session. The proposed locations are listed in Exhibit A and are also located in the briefing packet. They include school zone signs at West 20th Street, Main Street, Pine Street, and West 16th Street. If approved, these school zone additions and removals will be added to the city's traffic register, and staff recommends approval. If we have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Mr. Thompson?
I do, yes. So the Parks Elementary being in my ward, initially there were a lot of concerns over the traffic routing and the speed limits during drop off and pickup. Have you pretty much resolved all those issues?
We have been
with
working.
this?
Sorry, we have been working with the Texarkana Independent School District to work on some alternative routings, and once we have these school zones implemented, we will work on establishing those as well.
I know I just had a lot of calls from neighborhood residents that
Yes, sir.
that were having trouble with traffic and speeding, just all sorts. You know the calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. I can send you the routing that we've worked out additionally as well.
As long as everybody's working on it, that's great. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Any other questions by the council? Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate
you.
your information this evening. All right, ordinance number 2026-147, is there a motion for approval? We have a motion by Councilmember Thompson, a second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the city's traffic register to repeal school zones applicable to Paul Lawrence Dunbar Early Education Center and Spring Lake Park Elementary School. Amending the city's traffic register to establish a 20 miles per hour school zone speed limit for roadway sections of West 20th Street, Main Street, Pine Street, and West 16th Street in the vicinity of the Parks Elementary School when children are present, typically between 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on West 20th Street from approximately 120 feet east of the intersection with Texas Boulevard to approximately 60 feet east of the intersection with Pine Street. On Main Street, approximately 50 feet north of West 15th Street to the intersection with West 16th Street. On Pine Street, approximately 50 feet north of the intersection with West 20th Street to approximately 180 feet south of the intersection with West 16th Street. And on West 16th Street, approximately 130 feet from the intersection with Texas Boulevard to approximately 75 feet from the intersection with Pine Street. Providing for a penalty, providing for repealer and severability clauses, providing for publication, containing legislative findings, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. This concludes our action items this evening. We'll now move along to our first briefings portion of the agenda. Item number 1 is resolution number 2026-116, adopting the fiscal year 2027 master fee list, including reauthorization building permit fees. We'll have public hearing on this item at our next council meeting on September the 14th, and council vote scheduled for that evening as well. Kristen Peoples is going to provide a briefing for us relating to this resolution. Good evening once again, Kristen.
Good evening again. The proposed FY27 master fee list includes updates across several city departments. Animal services includes increases to boarding, owner surrender, late registration, and rabies quarantine fees, including a new fee for owner surrendered animals from outside the city limits. Fire department updates include new or increased fees for inspections, plan review, testing, and permit fees, including commercial kitchen suppression reviews, fire alarm reviews, sprinkler testing, and certain annual inspection fees. Updates for the inspections department include adjustments for electrical, plumbing, HVAC, building, sign, and re-inspection fees. Also included are increases for sign, roofing, pool, certificate of occupancy, and after-hours inspection fees. Public Works is proposing changes to zoning, site plan, subdivision, and other development-related fees, along with increases to commercial and residential solid waste rates based on the current contract in place with Waste Management. Texarkana Water Utilities is also proposing increases to various residential and commercial water, sewer, and irrigation fees, and also CPI increases recommended for wholesale water customers. The library is adding several fees for new services offered, including 3D printing, button making, vinyl printing, and heat press printing. The Southwest Center is adding a daily drop-in fee for non-residents and an annual non-resident membership fee. Overall, the proposed changes are intended to update user fees and better align them with the cost of providing specific city services, while many fees throughout the master fee list remain unchanged. All fee changes are listed in your briefing sheet and highlighted in yellow. If you have any questions regarding specific fees, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Kristen on this item? Okay, and then as we move forward with item 2 through item 5, Kristen will also be updating us on those items as well. Item number 2 is ordinance number 2026-117, discussing and considering all matters incident and related to the issuance of sale of City of Texarkana, Texas tax notes, Series 2026, including the adoption of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of such tax notes. Kristen?
Good evening again. This agenda item proposes the issuance of a tax note anticipated to generate approximately $700,000 in revenue. The proceeds will be used to fund major street maintenance projects. Annual debt service will be paid from ad valorem tax revenues while maintaining the current rate of 65 cents. The proposed issuance was discussed and recommended by the Budget Advisory Committee during its May and June meetings. Bond Counsel is currently preparing the issuance ordinance, which is scheduled for council consideration on September 14th. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions on this item for Kristen? Okay, item number 3 is ordinance number 2026-118, discussing and considering all matters incident related to the issuance and sale of City of Texarkana, Texas waterworks and sanitary sewer system revenue bonds, Series 2026, including the adoption of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of such revenue bonds. Kristen?
Good evening again. On September 26, 2022, the council adopted a 10-year water and sewer rate structure that included scheduled rate increases to support future system needs. The rate study assumed 2 debt issuances of approximately $20 million each, one in FY23 and a second in FY28, with estimated annual debt service of approximately $1.5 million for each issuance. The first debt issuance was approved in September of 2023, and this agenda item seeks approval of the second issuance. Although the bonds are scheduled for approval at the next council meeting, the first debt service payment will not be due until FY '28, consistent with the assumptions in the rate study. Bond proceeds will be used to fund needed water and sewer infrastructure projects, and debt service will be paid from revenues generated through approved water and sewer rate structure. Bond counsel is currently preparing the issuance ordinance, which is scheduled for approval at the September 14th meeting, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions for Kristen on this item? Okay, very good. Item number 4 is ordinance number 2026-119, amending the budget estimate of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2026, and adopting the budget and appropriating resources for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2026, and ending September 30th, 2027. And this item will pertain to a roll call vote. Kristen?
Good evening again. This is the presentation for the fiscal year 2027 proposed budget. We've been working on this since we started in about March with departmental meetings, and those ran through March and April. We had meetings with our Budget Advisory Committee in May and June, and a joint council meeting with the Budget Advisory Committee in June as well. And so this is the progress that we have made on that proposed budget for presentation tonight. We'll start off by talking about revenue. Much of the presentation covers our general fund revenues and expenditures with some additional comments in there as well. But if you have any specific questions on other funds, I'll be happy to answer those. Sales tax revenue generates approximately 50% of the general fund revenue budget. Fiscal year-to-date collections as of the month of July, which is through May sales, total $14.6 million, which is a decrease of 0.74% compared to last year. Estimated fiscal year 26 collections are estimated to be $22.3 million, or a decrease of 0.49%, or $109,000 compared to the prior year. Estimated fiscal year 27 collections are budgeted at $22.3 million with no projected increase. This is a slide that we have covered the last several years, but it's just kind of going through the two calculations required by the state when it comes to property tax revenue. The no new revenue calculation is the rate that would generate the same amount of revenue as the prior year if it was applied to the same properties. For us, that rate would be 64.7898 cents. The voter approval rate considers the no new revenue maintenance and operation rate, allows for a 3.5% increase on that, combined with the debt rate needed. This calculation does limit our growth on property tax revenue because it caps us at 3.5% on M&O tax revenue growth, and so it's a big part of our budget process. Our plan will be to maintain an overall tax rate of 65 cents and to fund annual capital expenditures with tax notes. Property tax revenue generates just over 31% of the general fund revenue budget. We received the certified property values on July 24th, and those values were a decrease in the overall property valuation of $25 million, or 0.64%, in comparison to the official tax roll issued in October of 2025. The breakdown by jurisdiction: Texarkana City jurisdiction declined by $26.4 million. The TERS 1 district increased by $4.8 million, and the TERS 2 district decreased by $3.5 million. Gross revenue decreased based on certified values by $163,000, and after consideration for allowances for frozen taxes and delinquent collections, the projected net revenue decrease is just over $205,000. We estimate that to be a $167,000 increase in the general fund, a $385,000 decrease in the interest and sinking fund, a $34,000 increase in the TERS 1 fund, and a $22,000 decrease in the TERS 2 fund. The proposed budget also includes the following TWU revenue increases. Effective October 1st, water and sewer rates based on the adopted rate study, which is approximately 5% on water and 4% on sewer. The Riverbend fee has not been finalized at this time. The current fee is $5.16 per 1,000 gallons and could potentially go up to $5.50 per 1,000 gallons, depending on current discussions with participating entities. Effective January 1st, this budget includes CPI increases for wholesale water contracts. Now we'll cover the expenditures. I'm going to turn the presentation over to David at this time to cover a few slides.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I know we've talked a lot about this in our budget process, but with our Budget Advisory Committee and with Council, but I just wanted to kind of go over really just for the public to also see the budget constraints that we've been discussing now for a number of years. So first off was the passage Proposition 9 that was passed by voters, which exempted a larger portion of personal property tax from ad valorem tax. That exemption went from $2,500 to $125,000. This decreased the city's revenue of approximately $600,000 with that passage of Proposition 9. The other big limiting factor for revenue is the state law that caps our annual increase in revenue for property tax. It also includes a calculation that looks at sales tax as well. So our overall revenue growth is capped at about 3.5%. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. That law was passed, Senate Bill 2 in 2019, and so we're seeing more and more of the effects of that as we see increased inflation, and those revenue limitations are including personnel, healthcare, which JW covered. Again, that's an approximate 45% increase just this year in healthcare costs. Utilities, infrastructure, and other necessary expenditures make it difficult when you're dealing with that 3.5% cap. And we talked about this during budget advisory. I just wanted to mention it again. We looked at 2019 to 2026. Again, we chose 2019 because that was the year that that law took effect. And you could just see infrastructure costs, whether it's Class A concrete or asphalt, our patrol units, our fire trucks, our public works trucks have all increased significantly since 2019. And so we see that also in our daily lives as well. And so as we look at infrastructure costs, those are the same. So in order to address that, we had some tough budget discussions this year. And so, and I appreciate all of our departments participating and coming up with solutions to help balance our budget. And so this is not just a one-time sort of thing. We're looking at budget reductions over the next 3 years, so totaling 7% by FY29. So that includes a 3% reduction this year in the proposed FY27 budget, and then FY28 additional 2%, and then FY29 2% as well. And so as we discussed in Budget Advisory Committee meetings and workshops earlier this year, we are developing a long-term fiscal plan to address the funding needs and support the city's financial stability. I will tell you, even though this was a tough year, I do think that these reductions will set up the city for the next several years in terms of a balanced budget and the opportunity for growth. So again, do appreciate these budget reductions, and they were some tough choices that we had to make, but ultimately it will set us up well for the future. And so got a couple of other slides to go through, and I'll show you some graphs in a second that kind of to that point. So this is just the change in general fund expenditures by division. You can see that almost every department decreased their budget year over year from the adopted FY 2026 to the proposed that you see today, with the exception of police and fire. And we talked about early on prioritizing public safety. So you can see that that budget, or this budget does that. But you can see a number of other departments have all reduced their budgets over that time. So the overall reduction in this budget by division or by department is $1.3 million there at the bottom. This graph sort of, I think, explains what we were able to do pretty well. So you can see this is the projection of September of 2025 of last year. And so if you look at sort of that gold line, that's total expenditures on the top. That's our total revenue on the bottom. There's a huge gap that would be our budget gap that we were facing in FY 27, 28, 29. So you can see the out years past FY 26, which we're currently in. There were a number of $3.2 million to be exact in budget gap over those years. And then based on the reductions that we're able to do, you can see now the total revenue is now over expenditures. And we trend that way up until 2029 or so. So we still have some work to do. I think that's kind of the message is not everything is done. But those total expenditures are still primarily driven by healthcare. So what you see on that trend data is sort of a plug of roughly 25% healthcare cost increases year over year. So again, we have a plan. JW talked a little bit about that, and our goal, thanks to Council and Budget Advisory, of looking at trying to go back to self-insured. And so, but to do that, we have to have some loss ratios that are sustainable to get there. So that is the plan long term, but I think these two graphs do a great job of explaining sort of where we were at and then where we're going, thanks to the changes that were made this year to help balance our budget. I'll turn it back over to Kristen.
Okay. Now we'll talk about personnel. This budget includes a reduction of 25 positions in the FY 27 budget, with up to 16 additional positions proposed in the future through attrition. All positions have been done through attrition. Non-civil service personnel, this budget includes a 1% increase to base salary, along with longevity increases. That amounts to approximately $140,000 with benefits for the city and approximately $93,000 with benefits for TWU, with the Texas portion being $55,000. The fire department is currently engaged in collective bargaining, so that is to be determined. The police department, civil service personnel, this budget includes a 2% increase to base salary across all grades and steps, including longevity increases and step increases, and that amounts to approximately $154,000 with benefits. I'll talk a little bit about employee health insurance, which, as David mentioned and JW mentioned, have been our big increase this year. The increased cost is approximately $2.55 million to maintain medical, dental, and vision insurance. Medical premiums and HSA contributions are an increased cost of $2.5 million, a total cost of $9.36 million, with $7.38 million of that being paid by the city, or 78.8%. Dental premiums, the increased cost is $48,000 for a total cost of $445,000, with the city paying $315,000 of that cost, or 70.8%. Vision premiums, there was no changes from the prior year, and that is 100% employee funded. Just a couple of our large items in the budget that I wanted to make mention of. We have funding for fleet operations of $1.157 million, fleet capital replacement of $1.2 million, building maintenance of $530,000, and technology cost of $600,000. Neighborhood and community, this is funds set aside in our Community Development Corporation Fund. And we have demolition and revitalization of $100,000 and downtown enhancement of $125,000. Some of our partnerships, we have operation of the Bi-State Building and Jail, $2 million. The Public Library, $640,000. The T-Line Bus System, $240,000. The Airport Operations, $563,000. Airport capital projects, $260,000. Airport match for the TxDOT grant, $648,000. The Health Department, $97,000. And the Bowie Central Appraisal District, $470,000. Some new items in our budget this year. In the general fund, we have Police Department additional funding for body cameras, $50,000. Annual funding for TML insurance policy for House Bill 4144. This is Texas firefighters and peace officers diagnosed with cancer, heart attacks, or strokes within 3 years of retirement, and the cost of that is $10,000. Technology fund, replacement of equipment in the council chambers, $65,000 in FY26 and $35,000 in FY27. Items in the TIFMAS fund, this is funding generated from deployment reimbursements. Fire Department hydraulic tools, $27,000. Fire Department SCBA pack replacements over 4 years. Year 1 of 4, $25,000. We also have funding set aside in the general fund, one-time use of fund balance for this project as well. Fire Department fitness equipment at 5 stations, $30,000. The Narcotics Seizure Fund, Police Department replacement of 12 radios, $44,000. Debt issuance, we have a proposed issuance of tax notes that will generate approximately $700,000 in revenue to be used for major street maintenance projects throughout the city. We also have a proposed issuance of water and sewer revenue bonds, approximately $20 million, to be used for water and sewer infrastructure projects. We have several one-time use of fund balance projects. This is the revised FY26 projects, and any items not completed in FY26 will roll to FY27. We have dead-end looping and other capital projects for TWU, $1 million. Animal Services Building, $900,000. Bringle Lake Wilderness Trail and Mountain Bike System, $160,000. Storm Sirens, $273,000. Parks Master Plan, $6,000. College Drive Sidewalk Matching Funds, $51,000. North Robinson Sidewalk Matching Funds, $57,000. Texarkana Golf Ranch Land Swap, $1.2 million. Transfer to fleet for purchase of fire truck, $1.7 million. Transfer to the airport fund for the runway project, $427,000. Vital statistics scanning of birth and death records, $304,000. Personnel study, $100,000. ADA transition plan, $150,000. A generator match of $20,000. A TDHCA matching funds of $20,000. Replacement of fire radios, $100,000. Fire Department breathing air compressor, $43,000, and contingency funds of $1.2 million. Items included in the budget of one-time use of fund balance for FY27, install a new security system at City Hall, $30,000, a fence repair of $36,000, TDHC matching funds of $75,000, Fire Department SCBA pack replacement over 4 years, $48,000 per year. Bi-State Justice Center capital improvements, $596,000. Replacement of Fire Department radios over 3 years, $100,000 per year. Police Department building, $1 million. Library building repairs, $500,000. College Drive and Potomac drainage project, $1.5 million. And contingency funds of $1.3 million. This slide helps capture the revenue versus expenditures. So we revise FY26, which is the current year, and then of course we're budgeting FY27, but we also forecast out to 28, 29, and 30. So a couple of things I'll mention, the operating revenue over under expenditures. You'll see that line. What we try to do is look at what are our true operating revenues and expenditures, excluding all the one-time use of fund balance items. And so you'll see that revenue does exceed expenditures up until FY 2029, as David mentioned earlier in his presentation. And so there is a gap in 29 and then a larger gap in 2030. And then when you look at it with a one-time use of fund balance, of course, that's a lot larger gap, but it's because those are one-time expenditures. Those are not reoccurring. So days of expenditures and unassigned fund balance is estimated to be at the end of FY 2027, 125 days. This next slide is the recap of the fund balance. So we have unassigned, assigned, and restricted fund balance. Just as a reminder, the city's policy is to maintain 60 days in unassigned fund balance. At the end of FY 27, we estimate that the total fund balance will be just under $21.9 million, and of that, 14.9 will be unassigned, which is 125 days. The next few slides capture our Budget Advisory Committee recommendations. These are the recommendations that came out of the meetings this year. Implement budget reductions over 3 years, as we mentioned earlier, for a total of 7% by the end of FY 2029. Also consider additional expenditure reductions or revenue strategies needed for FY 30. Continue to work toward aligning operations of associated entities and shared departments, including TWU, airport, and the library. Finalize the health insurance contract and work with consultant to develop cost-saving strategies. Research and implement strategies to optimize property tax collections. Use additional property tax revenue to pay debt service, and consider reduction of percentage allocation to the TERS 1 fund. Also, continuation of the following TWU projects: the Wagner Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant upgrade, non-revenue water reduction Phase 2 dashboard and analytics, Texas Viaduct water looping project, automatic metering and energy audit, finalize contract extension with Graphic Packaging, increase water and sewer rates based on the adopted rate study effective October 1st, implement wholesale water contract CPI increases effective January 1st, update the Riverbend fee effective October 1st, and continue contract discussion with Macedonia ILO. And that completes the formal presentation, but I'll be happy to answer any specific questions that you have.
Any questions for Kristen or David? That was very thorough, so.
Thought you did a good job.
A lot of information there, so appreciate that very, very much. Kind of gives us a clearer picture of the overall situation of everything. So, all right, very good. If there are no further questions on this item, move along to item number 5, ordinance number 2026-120, fixing the tax rate and levy in and for the city of Texarkana, Texas for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2027 upon all taxable property in the city of Texarkana, Texas. And this ordinance will require a roll call vote. Kristen?
Good evening again. This ordinance proposes a tax rate for fiscal year 27 of 65 cents, which is the same rate in place today. As mentioned earlier, the city is required to provide public notice of the proposed rate through an advertisement in the local newspaper and by posting on the city's website. If approved, this rate will provide 41.9104 cents for maintenance and operations and 23.0896 cents for payment of debt. A public hearing will be held on September 14th, and following that public hearing, council will consider adopting the tax rate with a roll call vote. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions on this item? Okay, item number 6 is, and thank you for those updates, Kristen. Item number 6 is ordinance number 2026-138, granting a specific use permit to allow the one additional use of a cellular tower on an approximate 1.02 acre tract of land being tract 71B, George Brindley Headright Survey A-18, located in the 4300 block of Gibson Lane in Ward 4. Kurt Patton and others, owners, and Gregory Ferris, agent. And Michelle Daniel will be briefing us on the next several items that we have on our agenda this evening. Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. So this is a request for a specific use permit to allow the location of a 105-foot tall telecommunications tower in the 4300 block of Gibson Lane. The property is currently zoned agriculture and is vacant land. The adjacent zoning is planned development, general retail to the north, east, west, and agriculture to the south. The adjacent land use is an emergency room to the north, vacant land to the east, west, and south. The future land use map has designated this property as regional commercial. This is a high priority location for this tower because of the coverage and capacity to the east and west. Planning and zoning does recommend for approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Michelle? Okay, very good. Item number 7 is ordinance number 2026-139, granting a specific use permit to allow one additional use of permanent cosmetics on an approximate 4.6 acre tract of land being tract 19, J.W. Lane Headright Survey A-345, located at 6500 Summerhill Road in Ward 6. Jessica Davis, owner. Tammy Roten, agent. Michelle?
So this is a request for a specific use permit to allow permanent cosmetics at 6500 Summerhill Road. The property is zoned office. The future land use map designates this property as office district. The adjacent zoning is multiple family 2 to the north, office to the east, agriculture to the south, and single family 1 to the west. The adjacent land use is townhouses to the north, a gym to the east, a cemetery to the south, and residential to the west. A specific use permit is required to allow permanent cosmetics in the office district. Planning and zoning do recommend for approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions on this item? Okay, item number 8 is ordinance number 2026-140, granting a specific use permit to allow one additional use of an off-premise multi-tenant sign on an approximate 4.635 acre tract of land being tracts 332 and 333. Thomas Price Headright Survey A-466, located at 3701 New Boston Road in Ward 2. Kurt Green, owner. Michelle?
So as you said, this is a request for a specific use permit to allow the additional use of an off-premise multi-tenant sign at 3701 New Boston Road. The property is vacant land. The future land use map has designated this property as regional commercial. The adjacent zoning is commercial to the north, south, east, and west, and adjacent land use is retail to the north, a vehicle repair to the south, retail to the east, and the convenience store to the west. Planning and zoning do recommend approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Michelle? We do have Mr. Kurt Green, the applicant, in the audience this evening. Mr. Green, do you have anything you would like to add?
Do I need to make a little presentation, or what do I need to do?
It's whatever you want to do. We just welcome you for coming over from Arkansas this evening to be with us.
Well, it's nice to be over here occasionally. No, I would just like to say, well, there goes my deal. Thank you. I'm Kurt Green, and I'm representing Green Bud Harrington and Bud Green on this track. They're the two owners. I am a partner in both of those deals. We bought this property in 1993 and been slowly developing it since then. The Wendy's and the Exxon, and now the storage facility out there, the National Collision. Choice Hotels is fixing to build out there, and we've got several other people that might be looking at it in the near future. And we, when we did the storage, we saw that we needed a road to go through this property to connect it from New Boston Road down to the loop, so there would be some circular traffic in through there, so people wouldn't have to go over underneath the loop and go down to the next intersection on the loop and come back up and everything like that. We're a convenient society. We like everything to be short, sweet, quick, get there and get out. Also, it's completely two different types of traffic on New Boston Road versus, east and west versus north and south on the loop, so it gives people a lot more exposure and things like that. So we decided to do the road in there, and be happy to answer any questions. Now, this says 4 acres. There's actually 11 acres that are left in there to develop. But since there was only 2 tracks, it only picked up the 1. But we do have, about 6 or 7, 11, up to 11 acres up there for development. So we've got quite a bit of deal. The sign that we're using is a sign we used in Memphis on a 6-acre tract where we've got a car wash, we got Whataburger, we got Express Lube and all, same thing. This is the same principle that Target, Home Depot, PetSmart, all of them all have signs that are off premise. Some of them have a double sign off premise and all. I surveyed, I made sure I knew what I was doing when I came up here. I need examples. But anyway, we've got good examples of where it's been used successfully. It is a directional sign. There's no, for sales and all that kind of stuff on it. It's just directional with the business that will be down in there so it can make an easy loop and all. Am I
Thank you,
through?
Mr. Green, any questions by the council for Michelle or for Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for your time for being here.
Okay, appreciate your consideration.
Okay. All right, we do have a public hearing scheduled for this item once
Oh,
again
did I get yours?
at our next meeting on September 14th. Yeah, don't take her notes, so.
Yeah, no.
All right, thank you, Kurt. Item number 8 is ordinance number 2026-140, granting a specific use permit to allow, I just did that one, didn't I? Okay, let's move along. Items 9 and 10 are combined, so I'm going to read both captions, and then Michelle will brief both of these items at one time. Item number 9 is ordinance number 2026-141, rezoning Lot 15A, Block 2, Calhoun Plaza, located in the 5500 block of Christus Drive in Ward 6, from Plan Development Office to Plan Development General Retail. Alan Shimming, owner. Kayla Wood, MTG Engineers and Surveyors Agent. Item number 10, ordinance number 2026-142, amending PD-16-2 for site plan approval on Lot 15A, Block 2, Calhoun Plaza, located in the 5500 block of Christus Drive in Ward 6. Alan Shimming, owner, and Kayla Wood, MTG Engineers and Surveyors Agent. Michelle?
Good evening again. So as you said, this is a request to rezone a lot in the 5500 block of Christus Drive from Plan Development Office to Plan Development General Retail and for site plan approval. The future land use map has designated this property as office institutional. The adjacent zoning is single family 2 to the north, east, and west, and Plan Development Office to the south. The adjacent land use is a parking lot to the north, residential to the east, a school to the west, and an office to the south. The proposed use is a gym, and the site plan consists of the construction of a 4,500 square foot building. The access driveway will be off Christus Drive. A 4x8 monument style sign, no CEVMS will be allowed. Trash bins will be used for refuse. The use of a 24-hour fitness center is restricted. They must have a screening device between this business and the residential properties. And there will be no access and no parking in the alley behind the business, and all lights must be downward facing. Planning and Zoning has approved of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions on these 2 items? Okay, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time this evening. Item number 11 is resolution number 2026-148, approving an amendment and a 5-year extension to the city's contract with Waste Management of Texas Incorporated, authorizing the city manager to execute the necessary documents for such amendment, approving and conforming amendments to the fiscal year 27 master fee list to reflect contract changes to rates and fees. And we have Dusty Hensley to brief us this item and introduce a guest this evening from Waste Management. Dusty, good evening.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So at the end of February of 27, our current 5-year contract with Waste Management expires. So over the last few months, staff and Waste Management has been working on some options and different things to extend the contract for another 5 years. We even held a workshop with y'all a few months back to kind of discuss some options. Waste Management has presented a proposal to do that, and Ryan Frazier with Waste Management is here to go over those options with y'all.
Good evening, Ryan. Glad to have you with us.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager Orr, and members of the council. Thank you for having me. I put together some notes, some prepared remarks that I'll read that kind of talk about some of the few key points in our proposal. So, as mentioned, my name is Ryan, and I'm here tonight representing Waste Management, but more importantly, representing our local team right here in Texarkana. For us, Texarkana isn't just a service area on the map, it's our home. Our drivers, technicians, managers, many of our team members raise their families here, and they do it right alongside you guys. That's why we see, That's why you see our team out sponsoring community cleanup events and participating in city events. Keep Texas Beautiful and participating with the ISDs, volunteering at the schools. We deeply care about this community that we have the opportunity to serve. This partnership really has been a collaborative effort from the start, and we thank you for that. We know our operational base is right down the street here in Texarkana, and our team has been very engaged in this pursuit to extend the contract. We're very excited to service your city, your residents, and the businesses. As you know, I've been working closely with David and Dusty for probably close to a year now on this renewal. Early on, we wanted to ensure that we were looking at the contract and really exhausting all of the different opportunities that were out there. Whether there were opportunities to modify or make adjustments to the contract, as Dusty alluded to, and ensuring really that we weren't looking at the contract as it stood today, but we were forward-looking. We were open-minded about the future and where we wanted to go with this contract. And so we looked at everything from the rate structures to maybe even modifying the residential collection like we did in the workshop back in May. Throughout that process, one of the things that came very clear to me is that council and the city is very happy with the service levels that we have today. Delivering 99.9% service success day in and day out is one of the things that our team takes great pride on. And it's very pleasing to see that reflected in staff's recommendation tonight to maintain the existing service levels that we have. So what you have in front of you is the formal renewal proposal. And I wanted to emphasize a couple of things and just kind of emphasize the scale of the value that's on the table. So over the past 12 months, our business, like every business in town and every household here, we've all absorbed and we've seen costs. We've talked about it tonight with budget. That inflation's been felt in our business across labor, across equipment, across fuel, across parts. And by our contract, the way that it's written, on 10/1 of this year, just in a couple months, we are due our annual rate adjustment. That calculation that I presented to David and his staff is 5.16%. So that represents real backward-looking operational costs that we've already incurred into our business. That CPI calculation says what's happened in the past 12 months, and it's not a let's stay ahead of the curve. It's a catch-up for the costs that we've incurred into our business. So our proposal is that we are going to withhold that 5.16% adjustment, not just because it's a symbolic gesture to extend for 5 years, but it's real top-line revenue that Waste Management's forfeiting, and it's our massive financial commitment that translates to direct real dollars saved for the city, your residents, and local business owners. And it's not just for the residents, but it's across all 3 lines of business, commercial and roll-off. And so for residents, what that means is that base rates will stay flat. It's another 12 months of the $31.63 that we pay today, which includes the franchise fees in that rate. And for businesses, rates will remain flat. We're preserving the local commercial structure, and we even did a rate study looking at the commercial rates to see how we kind of stacked up in comparison. The rate study actually showed that there's over $325,000 of money that stays in the pockets of Texarkana businesses compared to neighboring communities and maybe what some of our competitors are doing with their commercial rate structure. So again, I wanted to express WM's desire that our number one goal is to continue our partnership. We want to be in this for the long haul with the city of Texarkana. So in exchange for forfeiting the 5.16% revenue increase across the board, which provides immediate rate stability. We're looking to, continue our partnership for an additional 5 years, which is the extension that's on the table. So we love serving Texarkana. That's the message that I wanted to communicate, not just myself, but from our team just down the street. We value the relationship, and we look forward to continuing to build our future together. So I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Ryan, this by the council? Mr. Davis?
The one question I have is just whenever we were doing our workshops previously, there were some discussions on consideration of removing the exclusivity on the roll-off dumpsters, and it doesn't appear that that was looked at very hard by Waste Management. Is that something that y'all are willing to reevaluate and get back to the city pretty quick to see if that's an option moving forward?
Yeah, so that is, it's a great question. It is something that we did take a serious look at. We've had a lot of discussions with David and his staff, specific to the exclusivity on the roll-offs. We felt that there's, several different ways that we could look at this. And when we look at, our contracts, right, it's kind of an integrated economic ecosystem. Every piece kind of helps everything else work, right? And so, because there's a high volume of commercial services, it does allow us to subsidize, some of the rates in some other areas, which allows us to extend that, 5.16%, withholding. I mean, it's a large contract, so it's a lot of money on the table. It's a lot of value, and we felt like that was the best value back to the city was to withhold that increase across the board. Now, if that's something that's important, talking with David and Dusty, I'm happy to, come back with an alternate proposal, but I don't know that I can commit to withholding the rates across the board and removing the exclusivity on that piece as well. It would be an alternate proposal that we can certainly come back with, and I can work with David and his team over the next, 30 days to do that.
What's the current burden from the city? Because the way that I understand the contract, the city is the one who actually has to enforce and contact. I mean, what does that look like from a city standpoint?
So just like any other contract that we have, the staff has got the responsibility to enforce that part of the contract. So what we do now is when we get calls or questions about a illegal roll-off, I mean, our inspectors go out to the site, notify them, and just kind of work it that way right there. There's other ways to do it. That's the best way that we found to handle it. So I don't know if there's a better way. I'm sure there, but that's kind of the way we typically handle it right now.
Okay.
But per contract that we have exclusivity with them for all roll-offs currently.
Any further questions?
I just know for me, it's problematic for me to not consider it.
Okay, maybe we can continue that dialogue to see what we can work out on that, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
I do have a
Mr. Thompson?
question regarding roll-offs. Just a private dumpster, if I owned a trailer, in other words, and had some trash to haul off from my own property, that is considered an illegal.
Not if you own it. It's when you hire somebody to do this.
You hire somebody to do it.
So even like our general contractors, if they own their own roll-offs, they are allowed to use their own
They are
roll-off.
allowed to use,
Yes.
so it is a hired
Yes,
roll-off.
correct.
It's, allowed.
And it's my understanding if it's a trailer that's not tied into this roll-off dumpster, correct? If it's just a 16-foot trailer,
Depending on there's gray area on roll-offs and things like that. Technically, Waste Management has exclusivity for any residential or commercial waste hauling in the city by contract.
Yeah, and I would add also for commercial sized dumpsters, and part of that, again, going back to looking at it holistically, you're talking about a pretty large number of services that we provide. It's capital in the trucks, it's capital in the containers, it's It's our employees, it's labor hours, it's all the things that we kind of bake into that holistic rate. You know, and our rates are public, right? They're out there for everyone to see. It's really easy to undercut us, but part of that is there's franchise fees built into those rate structures, which allow us to kind of maneuver, you know, the residential rate. And, you know, we talk about this at times in the workshop. I mean, the residential service, you guys have a lot of service, right? It's a great setup with the trash, the recycle, the yard waste, the bulk. We've got citizens drop-off stations. There's a lot that's included into that. So, yeah, I mean, I would be happy to look at that further, Jay, to answer your question.
But if a citizen has their own trailer and they remove debris from their own property, I mean, they can transport that to the landfill and pay a fee to have that delivered to the landfill themselves, correct? That's still permissible?
If it's their own trailer.
If it's their own
Yes.
trailer?
Yes.
Okay, that's allowed?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right, that's good. All right, well, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Dusty. We'll continue to work on this. All right. At this time, move along to our public hearings. We do have several public hearings scheduled this evening, so we'll move forward with that. Item number 1 is ordinance number 2026-096, granting a specific use permit to allow the additional use of a skating rink on an approximate 25.334 acre tract of land being tracts 10A5, 10A6, 10B, Block 10A3, Ely Moore Headright Survey, A-401, located at 2729 New Boston Road, number 90, in Ward 2. John O'Shaughnessy, owner. Quinn Jefferson, agent. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Thompson. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-829 for one additional use of a skating rink on an approximate 25.344 acre tract of land, being tracts 10A5, 10A6, 10B, Block 10A3, Ely Moore HRS A-401, located at 2729 New Boston Road, number 90, in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Item number 2 is ordinance number 2026-125, rezoning an approximate 2.83 acre tract of land being tract 97B H.S. James Headright Survey A-306, located in the 4200 block of Finley Street in Ward 2, Single Family 2 to Single Family 3. Stephanie Tardy, owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward and state your name for the record. Once again, not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? Motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that Councilmember Davis? Councilmember Davis seconded the motion. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Texarkana, Texas, by rezoning on an approximate 2.83 acre tract of land, being tract 97B H.S. James HRS A-306, located in the 4200 block of Finley Street, in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Ordinance 2026-125 dealt with the rezoning of the property. Ordinance 2026-126 pertains to the specific use permit for the same property. Ordinance number 2026-126 granting a specific use permit for the location of a HUD code manufactured home on an approximate 2.83 acre tract of land being tract 97B, H.S. Janes Headright Survey A-306, located in the 4200 block of Findlay Street in Ward 2, Stephanie Tardy, owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Davis. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Thompson. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-831 for the location of a HUD code manufactured home on an approximate 2.83 acre tract of land being tract 97B, H.S. Janes HRS A-306, located in the 4200 block of Findlay Street in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Items 4 and 5 are related. Item 4 is ordinance number 2026-127, rezoning lots 8 through 10, Block 8, Red Cut Heights, located at 2506 Liggett Street, Ward 1, from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3. Shakia Williams, owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? Motion by Councilmember Thompson, second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Texarkana, Texas, by rezoning on lots 8 through 10, Block 8, Red Cut Heights, located at 2506 Liggett Street in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Item 5 pertains to the specific use permit at this location. Item 5, ordinance number 2026-128, granting a specific use permit for the location of a HUD code manufactured home on lots 8 through 10, Block 8, Red Cut Heights, located at 2506 Liggett Street in Ward 1. Shakia Williams, owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. Excuse me. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Metter. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Thompson. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-832 for the location of a HUD code manufactured home on lots 8 through 10, Block 8, Red Cut Heights, located at 2506 Liggett Street in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ordinance passes. Item 6 is ordinance number 2026-129, granting a specific use permit to allow one additional use of an electrical substation on an approximate 3-acre tract of land being tract 63A and 63B, J.A. Talbot Headright Survey A-564, located in the 5700 block of Gin Road in Ward 5. Molly Crow, AEP Southwestern Electric Power Company owner. William Sellard, TTL USA agent. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Good evening, Lisa. We have Lisa
Good
Thompson
evening, Mayor,
with us.
councils. I'm actually just looking for my award for surviving this long in the meeting. Is it here? I'm just kidding. I'm here on behalf of American Electric Power and SWEPCO tonight. This is a request to rebuild our substation that serves the Richmond Road corridor. It's a critical piece of infrastructure for us. It serves the hospital, all of our commercial district. It's just going to be right next door. And I'm told the equipment that is there currently is over 50 years old, so it's very necessary. And happy to answer any questions. I have colleagues, Molly and William here from other parts of the world, so they're getting the best of Texarkana tonight.
Okay. So, Lisa, will the existing substation be deconstructed, or?
Yes,
Okay.
but in order not to interrupt service, we're just building it right next to it.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, very good. Thank you for being here this evening. Oh, by the way, how did the boys do?
So Fisher actually ended up playing on two teams. The 13U team made it to the championship. They lost, but they got second place. The 14U team lost out the second day of competition, but they did really great.
Okay, well, good.
Also, seeing the budget presentation from this side, they will not want me to say this, but it is so mind-boggling what they are able to do. The staff is world-class, and that's impressive. So.
That's right. I certainly agree with that. And then how was the umpiring at the tournament?
We would have liked to have you there, but
Oh, okay, well.
take what we can get.
Okay, sorry, I was tied up, so I couldn't make it there, so, all right. Thank you, Lisa. Public hearing is still open on this item. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Davis, a second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-833 for the one additional use of an electrical substation on an approximate 3-acre tract of land being tract 63A and 63B, J.A. Talbot, HRS A-564, located in the 5700 block of Jen Road in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. Item number 7 is ordinance number 2026-130, amending PD 23-4 for site plan approval on an approximate 22.73 acre tract of land being tracts 11, 11A, 12, 12A, H.S. James Headright Survey A-306, located at 1047 Terry Street in Ward 2, Zachary Mowry Resortment's representative owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval? Motion by Councilmember Hart, and is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, the caption.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending PD-23-4 for site plan approval on an approximate 25.169 acre tract of land, being tract 95, J.S. James HRS A-306, located at 1047 Terry Street, South Bishop, south of Terry Street, in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. We have one more public hearing item. It pertains to resolution number 2026-135, adopting the program year 2026 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan and authorizing the city manager to submit said action plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Davis, second by Councilmember Metter. This item pertains to a resolution, so there's not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution passes. This concludes our public hearings portion of the agenda. We'll now move along to the city manager report. Dr. Orr, good evening.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you tonight, and they relate to some reports that I'm reporting on. So the first one is the Texas Military Preparedness Biennial Report. This report is compiled by the Governor's Office of the State of Texas every 2 years. And just wanted to highlight the work at Red River Army Depot. It's, of course, recognized as a key of the Army's industrial base. It generates $1.2 billion in annual economic impact, supporting over 6,700 jobs And of course, we've talked about the expansion of drone production, lithium development, and a number of redevelopment partnerships with regional stakeholders. I believe 2 of which are in the audience tonight with SWEPCO and also our Chamber of Commerce. So we appreciate all of our partners with military affairs, with the Chamber, and the work that we're doing with Red River Army Depot. The full report is available online, and I've got a link there for the public to see. The second item is another report. This is the 10th anniversary of our Texarkana Arts and Historic District. It seems like just yesterday that we were recognized as an official cultural district by the state of Texas. That was back in 2016 now. And so we have to do a 10-year report that talks about all the different accomplishments of the district, and so this kind of outlines that. But the district has generated an estimated $9.1 million in annual economic impact, and it's helped spur downtown redevelopment, public art, and enhanced cultural amenities. I want to thank our very own Brooke Stone, who is our Arts and Historic District Manager, and for the work that she does with the Arts and Historic District, as well as our community partners, businesses, volunteers, and residents that have made this success possible. So the report and more information is available online at visittexarkanadistrict.com. And then just a couple of save the dates. Later this week, we'll have our quarterly Texarkana, Texas Police Department annual or a quarterly award and retirement recognition ceremony. That's Wednesday, August 12th at 2 p.m. at the Special Operations Training Center near Spring Lake Park. And then just to save the date for National Night Out, to put that on your calendars, that'll be Tuesday, October 6th from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll have more information will be put out by Sean Vaughn later on in the year as we start to sign up neighborhoods for that event. That's all.
All right, thank you, David. Appreciate that report. We'll now move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council this evening directed to the staff? Things going well out in your wards? Okay. All right, very good. All right, any final comments from staff to the council this evening?
No further comments, Mayor.
Okay, all right, thank you, David. At this time, the council will be convening into City Council will convene into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with city attorney, and Section 551.074, personnel matters. And for everyone here and those watching on live stream, the council does not anticipate taking any action after closed session other than reconvening into open session and adjourning the meeting. And so at this time, we will end the live stream. Once again, want to thank all of you joining us this evening, as well as those who have been joining us online. We certainly hope that you have a great evening. So thank you very much.